and just use writing the bad version as a way to get to the good version. I'm very trial and error. So other writers sit there and are kind of like agonize and have to get it in their head before they lay it down. I'm very just keep trying until it feels right. When it comes to actual choices I make in the screenplay, I rely heavily on the idea of what would really happen. For me, I'm never like, oh, I need a joke here. Like, I've got a few pages about a joke. Like, I don't look at it that way. I always would rather connect with moments of heart or moments that you can relate to, because then you care about the characters, as opposed to just, I mean, I'm not a comedy writer to the extent of like joke, like a TV thing. So for me, I rely heavily on, well, what would really happen? Did that person really say that, or would they just walk out of the room? What's the true emotions of the moment? And that's led me to making the right choice more than probably anything else.
Hi. So since you've had such success like adapting books and you're also a book nerd, are there any books that you really want to adapt and that you've actively pursued with approaching authors, or does it not work that way?
Yeah, there have been books that I've really liked and then it hasn't worked out and someone else gets the job. I don't have a company, so for me it's not like I can. I mean, I could, I guess, conceivably if I wanted to spend my own money or something, but that's why there are producers in a studio. So ideally, someone else is forking over money to that author for the rights and not me. There have been books I've chased after and I've gotten the job, and ones that I haven't. I have a few in the works that I'm really proud of that I hope get made. One of them is Rules of Civility, which is great. Another is, I don't know if anyone's read this novel, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? You know this book?
I worked here at Color Force, and they.
You did what?
I interned for.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. We did it with Color Force. Yeah, they're a good bunch over there.
Awesome.
And so you know Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian's a good dude. And Color Force, they did the Hunger Games books. So now they're really into books. And Where'd You Go, Bernadette? The woman who wrote it used to write for Arrested Development, so you know her mind is like different than all of ours. But the whole book is epistolary. So it's letters and emails and faxes and telegrams, and it's like the craziest jumble of gadgets in terms of telling a story. That was a fun adaptation to figure out how the hell do you take all these pieces of paper and turn it into a coherent movie. So I hope that one gets made, but you never know. So.
Question in the back alley.
So man, I'm just curious, how many rewrites did you put in the 500 days before you were comfortable sending that thing out?
So here's the funny thing about that script. My friend and I, we started writing in 2004, and
Was that the first one you made, or?
No.
Did you have
We had written a couple of like sort of more broad comedies, but like with simple premise stories, just as a vehicle for jokes. And I was in a relationship and it wasn't going so well, and my friend just got dumped, and we both kind of complaining about our girlfriends, but also complaining about how we couldn't relate to any of the movies about relationships. And we just started writing a lot of bits that would happen in a relationship. Like just almost calling it boy and girl. And here's the stuff that happens on the way up the mountain in a relationship, and here's the stuff that happens on the way down the mountain. Then we started moving the pieces around. We wrote it in probably the summer of 2004. We thought, no one's ever going to want to read this. And we put it away for about a year and a half. And we showed it to anyone. That was crazy. And then I don't even remember why we took it out. We showed it to a couple people, and they're like, no, this is like, there's something there. And then a friend of ours gave it to her friend, and someone we didn't even know. And she had just, I guess, come out of a relationship, and she read it in her car and started bawling. And she reached out to us, and she was like, this wrecked me. That's kind of what we were hoping for. No one wanted it, which I said, we tried to, our manager said, send it around town, and everyone was like, it's great, but it's not for us. And then we had crazy meetings, too. This one company almost bought it, and they said to us, oh, we got so close, had we bought it, we were gonna ask you guys to just change the beginning and end. We're like, okay. They're like, Tom, it should open with Tom in the car, bloody, and he's about to drive off a cliff, and we don't know why. That's like, well, you didn't buy it.
So
Anyway.
you just wrote it and put it away? You didn't even...
Initially, yeah, I know, it's crazy. We were just like, all right, that was a fun exercise. And, yeah, we just, it felt personal and it felt weird and different, and they continued to make just these bad movies that looked nothing like this, and we were like, all right, that was sort of an exercise in something. When Fox Searchlight eventually acquired it, and Peter Rice, who ran Fox Searchlight, and now runs all of Fox Broadcasting, is a really, really smart man, and will one day run like the whole Fox empire. He had two brilliant notes, and it just took the script to the next level. And the first one was, we're watching a movie that's entirely from the guy's point of view, right? This is all how he remembers it. But we're trying to get a meaningful, talented, funny actress, whoever she may be, to play this lead role. But she's going to read this and feel like she's just being shit on for the whole movie. There has to be something, and it has to be early in the screenplay, that will pull an actress in who's reading it so she goes, I gotta play this part. And that was a classic example of, and I tell this to a lot of people who want to write, like, the more you can understand how all the different parts work in this business, the more helpful it'll be to you as a writer. Because I never thought that way, like, oh, when Rachel McAdams is on her couch reading this, but if there's nothing there within the first like 15, 20 pages, she may not even finish the screenplay. Not to say she doesn't have lines, just something that makes it feel special to her. And that's where we came up with, there's that thing in the beginning of the movie called the summer effect, which is this just mini montage of like, she gets rent at a reduced rate, and the ice cream scooping thing, and when she's on the bus, she gets looked at a certain number of times, and it's just a way to make the actress feel special when reading it, to lure them in. And that's where that came from. The second note was, we didn't have the wedding, we didn't have the train ride, and we didn't have reality expectations. We had Tom's younger sister's bat mitzvah. And Tom is there, he's miserable, and he sees like, essentially like the ghost of summer and have like a conversation. Fine, whatever. But Peter Rice said something really smart. He didn't tell us like, oh, have a wedding and have a reality expectations. He said, this movie doesn't work if you don't have about 3/4 of the way in a moment where you think, oh wow, they really might get back together. This might work. You need one more head fake. Because you're tracking with Tom the whole time. You're on this journey with him. You need to feel what he's feeling. Like, okay, wait, maybe this is actually going to work out. And then just like rip their heart out. And he was so right. And from there, the bat mitzvah became a wedding. And the train ride may run into each other. And from there was then the idea of reality expectations, which is just an idea we were kicking around of. There's going to be what his hopes are so high of what this party might be, and then of course it turns out to be something else. And reality expectations is a device that could have been elsewhere in the movie, but it wouldn't have been as powerful as that moment, right then and there. Mark Webb, our director, was so nervous about how to shoot that, he actually went off and did a music video for some band while he was prepping for 500, which essentially was like a proto version of reality expectations, just so we could practice it in case he screwed it up on like some band before doing it for us. So he's like, okay, now I know how to do this. But those were really the two big notes and really the significant ways the script changed. There were always little lines and little things that the actors felt like, I'm not sure I would say it quite like this. And when Tom is watching those foreign films and then he sees himself in a foreign film, that was actually a montage of self-help. He read like a self-help book and was following the like stages of grief, and it played very jokey. And we sat with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's just so smart and understands the material so well. And he just kept saying, he's like, I wouldn't do that. Like, we were talking before about what would really happen. And Joe said, just like I would go to the movies by myself alone and watch a bunch of classic movies and sit around and be like just soak in culture to make me feel better. And from there we got to the sort of foreign films thing. But anyway, that's really, for the most part though, the script kind of stayed what it was, what we initially wrote, what for the most part was shot in 2008.
I just have like a side question with that. Did you send out 500 out with anything else, or was that really kind of your Hail Mary?
No, it wasn't even our first thing that was sent around. We didn't, early on we had a couple of these broad comedies that no one wanted. And some of them, once we sold Starfish, some of those broad comedies got sold also. So just we were kind of in a different class as writers. People were paying more attention to us. So nothing changed in the screenplays, it's just the perception of us has changed.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure. About one last question. Well, someone new. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's perfect because you kind of just segue into this. So how much did your scripts actually sell for? Because I'm sure we all want to know.
Oh.
Being writers.
Well, you know, I'll answer your question in a
So
funny
like,
way.
what's the average that it sold for?
Our Fox Search, 5 Days of Summer, I probably lost money on it. Because what happens is, indie movies, and that might not have been a true indie, I mean, it was a Fox Searchlight movie. Fox Searchlight makes everything on a budget. Rather than buy it, they optioned it. When you sell a screenplay, oftentimes you sell it, and that's good money. And then when the day they start shooting, you get like a production bonus. What Fox Searchlight does, they option it, a lot less money. And instead of you getting a bonus, they buy it, they technically buy it the day you start shooting. So that way they don't waste money buying scripts that they're not going to make. Which is a very smart way of doing business. It's just not, you know, this is not something you do if you want to get rich. And I flew myself back and forth to LA during the shoot, put myself up, because I wasn't a producer, they said you're invited to be on set, but you know, we're not in the budget to, so I probably all told, until the movie came out, you know, there were some residuals for DVDs down the road, and then it probably like made itself back. But when we made the movie, when we wrapped, I probably at that point spent more money on the movie than I had made, because I wanted to be a part of it. I didn't know if it would ever happen again. But you know, it's funny. Every project's different. To me, Fault in Our Stars wasn't about the money, and we went into the office, my friend and I, and we were just like, this is really important, and we want to do this the right way, and this isn't like a paycheck gig, this is something that we're just really passionate about. And I think they responded to that because they understood this wasn't us trying to get a raise or something, it was just, we cared about the material so much.
And on that note, now, we can't email Michael. Can people tweet you?
Sure.
Are you tweetable? What's your tweet?
At This Is Weber.
At This Is Weber. Okay, great. Well, Michael, thank you very much, and thank you, everybody.